have a son and a son-in-law are both pilots. He flew F-18s. He did his tour in the Middle East, flying over southern Iraq. 45 years before that, I deployed to Vietnam and flew missions over there. So we got a couple of fighter pilots here trying to farm and raise organic crops.
There's something about growing up here, farming. You can get the boy off of the farm, but you can't get the farm out of the boy. I'm probably the 4th generation Spring Grove farmer. Working with the soil, springtime rolls around, working with the land in your hands and seeing the fruits of your labor is kind of something that drew me back here. We can control everything from the seeds that we save to plant next year to the seeds that we pick from a vault of heirloom seeds that we know is going to grow well in this latitude, and agronomically or whatever it is, we can control that. But the more I was out there moving around in the military, the more I saw that there was a need and a niche and for the organic side of things. Other organic farmers, why they do it, and by and large the answer is because it's the right thing to do. As organic farmers, we are more, we're nurturers, not conquerors. If you just look around at nature, it's kind of interesting to see how things kind of work together and the symbiotic relationship. Farmers are pretty independent, but after a while, sitting alone on a tractor for hours can be lonely. Sometimes it's nice just to get out there and that's all you're doing is plowing a field and not worrying about anything. Getting back to my military, there's a lot of things I don't miss about it, but what I do miss about it is the people. Worked with a lot of good people, and it was the people that almost made me decide not to get out of the military, to stay in. That's one of the reasons I wanted to get into start the distillery, was to start bringing a team of people together that are fun to work with. I guess maybe some of this idea was born from sitting alone on a tractor and thinking through things.
We as a group were the people that were mechanically inclined, chemically engineering inclined, and farmer inclined. There isn't a product or a process or a project that's rooted in agriculture, rooted in the grains that somebody grows, that Christian kind of felt we wouldn't be able to tackle. And the idea of whiskey was almost like a natural thing. It kind of felt, well, I like whiskey, I like bourbon, we should do that. Our goal is to source the best available organic seed, plant it in the best cared for tillable soil, grow it managing the best organic practices and methods, and using what we believe to be some of the best limestone filtered water available. The resources are under our feet or in the field to make whiskey, to make bourbon. We didn't hire a consultant or somebody to train and teach and help us learn a little bit about what to do and how to do it and how to barrel it and how to test it and how to release it and how to market it. We just said, we know how to farm.
The vision is always, as I've understood it, to keep it local, keep it honest. The whole movement to keeping local, organic, and genuine, I guess, is the simplest way I could put it. Nowadays, it's hard to find in a small town. You mostly find something like this in the city. So other than making whiskey and making a good product, it's, you know, giving something back to the community that I was raised in.
The reason we kind of came back here was the more we'd moved around and lived other places, the more I realized, hey, you know, that place I grew up, that wasn't so bad after all. I went in the Navy in 1995, and I spent about 11.5 years on active duty and flying F-18s as kind of my career in the Navy, and flew those operationally off aircraft carriers. Being in the military and being a farmer, job descriptions are different. They're also a lot alike to the extent that it's not a conventional job. It's not a 9-to-5 job. Sometimes flight schedules, when we were getting ready to go deploy, sometimes we'd be, to get our nighttime in, doing touch and goes, getting ready to go to the ship, we'd be out at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning flying. So it's no 9-to-5 job. So, and farming is kind of the same way.
The fact that he flew Navy jets off a carrier, that's a precision. You'll never concentrate as much in your whole life as when you're making a night carrier landing. That's total concentration. If all of us could have that concentration 24/7, this world would be a much better place. You can't have any distractions, just total concentration, especially on a black night. Everything is very precise. You have a small glide slope, you gotta be on center line, and I think Christian brings that precision to running this distillery. And from all indications, they're making a quality product.
We stack the deck in our favor. Let's get the best seed, the best soil, grow it in the best way, the best water, and try to create the best bourbon, and not focus on making the most money or making money early. We are not a standard whiskey and bourbon maker. We're a premium, unique whiskey and bourbon maker.
When the results of that first batch that they opened up the year after they made it, and there's good and bad whiskey, and from all indication they're making good whiskey. And you have to believe that his time flying Navy jets at night off a carrier has had something to do with that too.